Okay. I just uploaded the second video, so I recorded that in Premiere, and I was pretty happy with how that turned out. What's been really going on today? Kanye West is still at it on Twitter. If you guys care about that. Probably not, though. I don't think a lot of people really necessarily give a fuck anymore, because people are just like, oh, Kanye. Why is Surf fucked up in CS2? I know it's like lag, but like, it sucks because you can't play it on CSGO. I don't really know what to talk about right now. I guess school. School's fun, I guess. For me, actually, this is like my first real semester back at school. And what's interesting is it's not hard. It's not something I've been necessarily struggling with a lot. And it's actually been kind of fun. Like, it's really easy to just go to class, go sit in the library for an hour, go to my next class, and go home. I think the only thing that sucks is I don't have like a laptop, so it's not like I can record while I'm in school. Obviously, I could do like vlogs or something like that, but I think vlogs are kind of pretentious. Or gratuitous, I mean, not pretentious. So like, no, I wouldn't necessarily do that. I think that that's not really my cup of tea is making vlogs. I've never been able to do that. Like, if I went to public to try to record, I definitely have issues. That's just me being honest. Like, I don't have that in me to like record like that. Dude, is this really the last one? I don't know if any of you ride motorcycles, but the Yamaha R9, at least from what I've heard, has had a huge manufacturing delay, or not manufacturing delay, shipping delay, because for I don't know what reason, but I heard from Matthew Woods that his R9 isn't going to be there until after the summer, so he won't even be able to ride it until the winter. And if he does ride it, it'll probably be his bike that he ships out to California with his one friend that lives up in like Poway, I forget his name, but he's OnlyFans, which I think is kind of funny. I mean, power to him, he's fucking rich as shit. And Matthew was down here in California. I could have gone seen him. I know he was hanging out with Hayden. And if you don't know who Hayden is High Speed Hayden. He's a guy that goes and rides his S1K around in San Diego. He's pretty chill. I've like met him one time. And even that one time I didn't really meet him. I drove past him on my bike. He was in his Raptor while he was stuck in traffic while he was on his way to class. And I was taking actually my bike to the dealership to them to fix it. And it was stuck in the dealership for like 2 fucking months. But that day that I drove it to the dealership, I went and got coffee and I was in the bike lane driving past him. And he posted a photo. He's like, if I had a bike. And that's the only time I met Hayden. Because I don't see him. It's not like he's around here too often. Obviously, like, I'm not going to know what he's fucking doing. He's been doing supermoto lately, actually. That's what a lot of people I've been seeing. They've been going out to the desert and doing some tracks, which I think is fun. I did it once with my cousin, but I didn't really enjoy it too much. And the reason why is because that was like my second time ever being on a motorcycle. And when I did do it, it was kind of like, I was like, what the fuck am I doing? And he was behind me. And I got some kind of notice from my uncle too that he kind of rides like a spaz. He told me that he went out to Colorado, back where like my other half of my family lives. And that cousin that I went dirt biking with actually broke his arm while they were out one day in the dunes. And if I dirt biked, I would definitely do it on a newer dirt bike. I would not do it on an older one. I rode one of his. It feels weird to ride someone else's motorcycle, and like if it was totaled, for example, like I wouldn't want to deal with that. And I think that was kind of my problem when I was riding, is that I was riding one of his bikes and I didn't really want to deal with that because I didn't want to total his bike. And if I totaled his bike, I would have felt bad. Like, obviously it's probably not within my capability if like I don't ride a dirt bike like that, but I ride a motorcycle, and I can say for certain, like, riding the motorcycle is a lot more fun to me than anything else. Like, some of the best times I have is cruising down on the street. The reason why is because my bike's not a fast bike. It's a 250. And obviously I'm going to get a faster bike because my bike is old. It's a 2012 Honda CBR. Problem with it is it's just too slow and it burns a lot of gas because it's a 2012 bike, but it has like no miles on it. It only has like, I've only put in, I think maybe 1,000 since I've owned it, which is like nothing compared to like how often people ride bikes. Like, I've known people who bought their R3 the year before and somehow they crank out like 60,000 miles. Like, what the fuck are you doing during the day? Like, where the fuck are you going? And I had like nobody to ride with too. Like, obviously if I hopped on a bike, I would go down to like Carlsbad or like Del Mar and go drive down the coast with my bike. But I'd rather do that with someone rather than do it alone. And I don't think that that's necessarily super fun when you're the only person driving. But I guess that's what a Cardo is for, and I have a Cardo. And a Cardo is like an internal speaker system if you don't ride motorcycles. They're pretty fun. The only thing that I hate about motorcycles is this one problem I have with them, which is I struggle with being able to not get my ears wrecked. And it's not like I have any like pain when I'm on the freeway. It just isn't fun to ride because you just hear in your ears. And I guess that's like something people enjoy. I've heard when people ride their bike, they love hearing the but my bike is a little tad loud because it has a Yoshimura exhaust on it. And if you don't know what a Yoshimura exhaust, it's actually a banned exhaust in California because it is not emissions friendly. So you're not allowed to run a Yoshimura exhaust, and it's also too loud. But cops don't pull you over for that. So they don't care that I have one on my bike. So if you install one, you'd have to do it yourself. A dealership would not be within their legal right to do that, at least from what I would know. Your second best bet is to go buy a Leo Vince exhaust because they're smaller and they're probably a slip-on. Like my exhaust is it's the in-between. It's not a full system. You can go under my bike, but it's not a slip-on. It's like a half arm or whatever. I forget what the word for it is. It's from Arizona. I looked up the owner records for it, and I am like the 6th owner of the bike. A lot of the people who owned the bike before me kind of got rid of it instantly, but that's what bikers do. They don't sell bikes. They don't trash bikes. They sell them. So I'm like the 6th owner of this bike, and I got this bike off of my cousin. So the bike's pretty fun. I've never had like a total issue with it other than when I got it. It had been sitting for 3 years, since 2020, I think. Or it had been on P&O since 2018. But the fuel system, if you let it sit for over like 6 months, I've heard, that sucks. And when you do that, the gas will separate. And when the gas separates, it'll start to rust because it starts to oxidize, I think. And then once it oxidizes, it'll rust your fuel tank. And if that happens, your fuel pump will get rusted, which you can save the shell. The shell won't get eaten out by the exhaust, but the fuel tank will be. And when the fuel tank gets eaten, you have to buy a new one. Or you can stick a bucket of toilet bowl cleaner in the thing and then let it sit for like 7 days. It'll be semi-cleaner than when it is, but the rust will come back. So you have to buy the original part. But the problem with my bike was it was over $1,000 to fix it because the motorcycle is super old and Honda OEM parts are overcharged, and I had gotten it taken to a dealership because all the places I called to go drop my bike off at had been closed. And the one guy that I was recommended, his shop, he wouldn't have been able to get to me for 2 weeks. So I would have been running around a bike with a broken fuel pump, and when you're running around with a busted fuel pump, the bike can't start like really easily. I was having to flood the fuel line, and if you do that, then you'll flood your engine if you open the throttle too long, which is not good. Which, I mean, luckily I didn't flood it. It takes a lot to flood those things. The bike's in good order. Like, if I sold the bike, I would definitely go buy a ZX4R. That's the bike I definitely want. And the reason why is because it's a good bike. And from what I've heard, it goes like almost 140 miles per hour, which is faster than what a 400cc motorcycle can go. But it's 10K. So that's my debate, is whether or not I go and sell my Honda and put like a quarter cash down in finance, which I would do. But the problem is like financing a motorcycle is kind of stupid, especially when like you would need a car. Anyways, that's all I'm going to record for now. I'll upload this cut comm saying I talked about motorcycles for 10 minutes, but I'll see you guys tomorrow with a new video, or in a few days if I find anything interesting. Those commentary videos are definitely going to be less frequent depending on like if there's a bunch of shit going on. Like, I got lucky today because the Grammys happened and there was a lot of stuff from the Grammys that happened. There's not too much going on. Like, obviously if like I wanted to make a video, I can go look at WestJet, but he made the video the same thing I talked about. And then I could also look at Moist Critical, but Moist Critical is not really talking about anything other than like this stuff. So I mean, that's pretty much it. I will see you guys tomorrow, probably with another ramble, or I'll see you guys in a few days, but I'm definitely going to upload within a meaningful time. So I'll see you guys around.